The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the most enduring and contentious conflicts in modern history. At its heart lies the struggle between the State of Israel and various Palestinian groups, with Hamas being one of the most prominent and controversial actors in this long-standing conflict. In this video, we will delve into the historical background of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the rise of Hamas, their objectives, and the complex dynamics that continue to shape this ongoing conflict. Historical context: the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. To understand the roots of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it is essential to look back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when the Zionist movement, advocating for the establishment of a Jewish homeland, began to take shape. As Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, tensions with the Arab population grew, leading to outbreaks of violence. The conflict intensified after World War II, leading to the United Nations 1947 partition plan, which called for the creation of separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine. However, the plan was rejected by the Arab states, and fighting ensued. In 1948, the State of Israel was officially established, leading to a war with neighboring Arab states and creating a wave of Palestinian refugees. This conflict never truly subsided, and continued through the years, marked by wars, Palestinian uprisings, and peace negotiations. The rise of Hamas' Islamic resistance movement emerged during the late 1980s as a significant player in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It was established in the Gaza Strip in 1987. During the First Intifada, a period of Palestinian uprising against Israel rule. 1. Ideological foundations. Hamas is an Islamist organization with a political and militant wing. Its ideology is rooted in a radical interpretation of Islam, and it has both social and political components to its activities. Hamas's charter, adopted in 1988, explicitly calls for the destruction of the State of Israel and its replacement with an Islamic state. 2. Resistance and governance. Hamas's popularity among Palestinians can be attributed to its dual role as a resistance organization and a provider of social services. While some nations, including Israel and the United States, label Hamas as a terrorist organization, the group has managed to establish a network of schools, hospitals, and charities in the Gaza Strip, which has garnered significant support among the local population. 3. Electoral victory in 2006. Hamas participated in the Palestinian legislative elections and won a surprising victory. This led to a split in Palestinian governance, with Hamas controlling the Gaza Strip and Fatah, a rival Palestinian faction, retaining control of the West Bank. The division between these two territories remains one of the central challenges to resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Hamas objectives and strategies. Understanding Hamas's objectives and strategies is essential to comprehending its role in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 1. Armed resistance. Hamas has consistently engaged in armed resistance against Israel, using both guerrilla warfare and rocket attacks from Gaza. These actions have drawn international condemnation and have resulted in several conflicts between Hamas and the Israeli military. 2. Territorial control. Hamas's control of the Gaza Strip is a critical aspect of its strategy. By governing the territory, it establishes de facto authority over a significant Palestinian population. This control has allowed Hamas to consolidate its power and assert itself as a key player in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 3. Ceasefires and negotiations. While Hamas is known for its militant actions, it has, at times, entered into ceasefire agreements with Israel. These ceasefires are often brokered by third-party mediators and are generally temporary and fragile. 4. Rejection of Israel's right to existence. Official stance, as outlined in its charter, is the rejection of Israel's right to exist. This uncompromising position has been a major obstacle to peace negotiations as it undermines the two-state solution, a proposed framework for the establishment of both Israeli and Palestinian states living side by side in peace. 5. Humanitarian and social services. In addition to its militant activities, Hamas has positioned itself as a provider of social services in the Gaza Strip. This has helped it gain popularity and legitimacy among Palestinians, particularly in Gaza, where living conditions are often challenging. The ongoing conflict. The Israeli-Hamas conflict has witnessed major flare-ups in recent years. While it is not possible to detail each and every event, we can highlight some of the key developments that have shaped the conflict's contemporary landscape. 1. Gaza Wars. The Gaza Strip has been a major flashpoint in the conflict. Israel has launched military operations in Gaza in response to rocket attacks, arms smuggling, and other security concerns. These operations, often referred to as Gaza Wars, have resulted in significant loss of life and destruction on both sides. 2. Blockades and restrictions. The blockade of Gaza by Israel and Egypt has had severe humanitarian consequences, leading to shortages of basic necessities and restricted movement for the people of Gaza. This blockade has been a point of contention and criticism from various international actors. 3. International involvement. Efforts to mediate and resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have involved numerous international actors, including the United States, the United Nations, the European Union, and regional powers like Egypt and Qatar. These efforts have resulted in various peace initiatives, but none have led to a comprehensive and lasting resolution. 4. Jerusalem as a flashpoint. Status of Jerusalem. A city sacred to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam has been a constant source of tension. Disputes over the control and status of Jerusalem have often led to violence and escalated the conflict. 5. Demographic and geopolitical shifts. The demographic composition of the region has also evolved over the years, with an increasing population of Jewish settlers in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. These settlements are a point of contention, as they are considered illegal under international law, and a significant obstacle to a two-state solution. The quest for peace. Efforts to achieve peace in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have been ongoing for decades. The most widely accepted framework for peace is the two-state solution, where Israel and a future Palestinian state would coexist side by side. However, this solution has faced multiple obstacles and challenges, including the expansion of Israeli settlements, political divisions among Palestinians, and the ongoing hostility between Hamas and Israel. 1. Peace initiatives. Numerous peace initiatives have been proposed over the years, including the Oslo Accords, the Camp David Summit, and the Arab Peace Initiative. These initiatives have aimed to address the core issues of the conflict, such as borders, refugees, security, and the status of Jerusalem. Despite these efforts, a comprehensive peace agreement has remained elusive. 2. Role of international actors. The involvement of international actors has been pivotal in peace negotiations. The United States has traditionally played a significant role, often serving as a mediator. However, the U.S. approach to the conflict has varied from one administration to the next. Other international actors, including the United Nations, the European Union, and Arab states, have also been involved in peace efforts. 3. Challenges to peace. Challenges to achieving peace in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict are numerous and complex. These include the divergent views of Israelis and Palestinians on key issues, disputes over territory and borders, security concerns, the status of Jerusalem, and the question of Palestinian refugees. The humanitarian impact. The Israeli-Hamas conflict has had a profound humanitarian impact on the lives of Palestinians and Israelis. 1. Palestinian suffering. Palestinians living in the Gaza Strip and West Bank have endured decades of hardship, including restricted movement, lack of access to basic services, and economic difficulties. The conflict has resulted in a significant number of casualties, including civilians, leading to human rights concerns and international condemnation. 2. Israeli security concerns. Israel, too, has faced security challenges, including rocket attacks from Gaza, threats from neighboring countries, and ongoing tension. These concerns have driven Israel's military and security policies in the region. 3. International aid and assistance. The humanitarian situation in Gaza has been a focus of international aid and assistance. Various countries and organizations have provided humanitarian aid to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinian population. However, the cycle of conflict often disrupts these efforts. The way forward, resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, including the role of Hamas, remains one of the most challenging and complex issues in international diplomacy. While there is no single, definitive solution, there are key principles that can guide future efforts. 1. Negotiation and dialogue. The need for a negotiated solution that takes into account the concerns and aspiration of both Israelis and Palestinians remains paramount. This would likely involve direct negotiations between the parties with the support of international mediators. 2. Addressing core issues. A comprehensive peace agreement should address core issues such as borders, the status of Jerusalem, security arrangements, the fate of Palestinian refugees, and the recognition of Israel's right to exist alongside a Palestinian state. 3. Unity among Palestinians. The Palestinian factions, including Hamas and Fatah, need to work toward a unified Palestinian leadership with a clear and consistent stance on negotiations with Israel. A divided Palestinian leadership has been a significant obstacle to peace. 4. International engagement. International actors should continue to engage and support efforts to resolve the conflict. The involvement of the United States, the United Nations, the European Union, and regional actors remains crucial. 5. Addressing humanitarian concerns. Efforts to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza and the West Bank should continue, with a focus on delivering aid and development assistance to the Palestinian population. The Israeli-Hamas conflict is deeply rooted in a complex historical, political, and religious context. It involves not only the two primary parties, Israel and Hamas, but also various international actors with vested interests in the region. Achieving a lasting and just resolution to this conflict remains an arduous challenge, but the quest for peace continues. It is imperative that all parties involved, as well as the international community, work together to find a path toward a peaceful and stable future in the region, ensuring the rights and security of all those affected by this protracted conflict. We hope that this war will end as soon as possible. Wars cause the death of innocent people, women and children. This is a very bad thing. There are no winners in any war. Thank you for listening to me. See you in the next video.